Hi everyone, my name is Aaron from Intune Music, and today we're going to talk about why do we run out of breath when we sing and how do I sing from my diaphragm. Okay, so before you watch this video, if you haven't watched my previous video when I talk about how do I train my breathing for singing, the greatest vocal myth revealed, please go and watch it before you continue on with this video. And yes, this is a video that's gonna get me killed, slaughtered by other singing teachers again, but I'm still gonna do it. Now, I believe most of you out there would have had this experience when you went to the KTV or the karaoke and you wanted to sing a song in front of your friends, you wanted to impress them with your singing, and of course you did the typical thing, you took in a very big breath and you started singing the first sentence, and before you even finished the sentence, you ran out of breath. You might also find that you run out of breath when you're holding long notes. You're unable to hold a very long phrase. When you sing high, you can't hold it for very long, your voice starts to tremble, and you really start to run out of breath and your pitch starts to suffer as well. Okay, so I can see many of you out there already nodding your head in agreement and telling me that you have had this experience before. So why do we run out of breath when we sing? Most of you will tell me straight away that it's because we don't have enough breath in our body, we don't breathe enough. So for those who answered that way, it shows that you haven't watched my previous video, so do it right now before we carry on with this next video. And one of the main determinants of how much breath we can hold in our body is our lung capacity. Alright, so what is lung capacity? Lung capacity basically means how much air we can hold in our lungs. So when we take in a big breath, we allow our chest to expand, we do diaphragmatic breathing, we fill up our lungs to the maximum, and when we breathe out all that air, that is our lung capacity. Okay, so you find a lot of singing students, when they want to train for lung capacity, what do? They go for swimming classes, they go for running classes, So we do all sorts of activities to get ourselves, fitter and be able to breathe more and have bigger lung capacity. But have you ever wondered, why is it that, if you have friends who are very fit or even if you have friends who are swimmers, when they go to the karaoke, do you find that their breathing is really fantastic? Do you find that they're able to hold a long note when they're singing? It shows that lung capacity, or the amount of breath that you hold in your body, really isn't the answer to why you run out of breath when you sing. Alright, so now that we know that lung capacity isn't really the main reason for our breathlessness when we sing, so what is the main reason? The answer to this is good vocal fold contact. Alright, so what do I mean by good vocal fold contact? Before I carry on with this, let's just briefly talk about what are vocal folds. So vocal folds are two very thin layers of tissue that are housed inside your voice box or your larynx. So you can see mine right here. It's easier to see a guy's larynx because there is the laryngeal prominence, or the Adam's apple that you see. If I turn to the side, you will see that it's just a prominent part of my throat. Vocal folds are maybe about this big, okay, just a fingernail in size. And so it's quite amazing that when you are vocalizing, these small little layers of tissue are able to produce the sound that you need. Okay, so what do we mean by good vocal fold contact? When vocal folds work, the breath draws them into vibration. So what happens is that the vocal folds actually touch and they vibrate at a certain frequency, and that in turn produces the pitch, the sound that you need in your voice. Okay, so if the vocal folds are vibrating well and they are coming into contact very well, so they are touching solidly each time they come into contact, that's what we mean by good vocal fold contact. Okay, so conversely, if the vocal folds don't even touch, or they touch just barely, or they touch in a chaotic manner, you find that your voice may sound a bit breathy or even sound a little bit hoarse. Alright? So what does this all mean? What does all this scientific thing actually mean? So when I talk with good vocal fold contact, you will hear that my voice is as it is now, very solid, very confident, not breathy, right? So it's a very thick sound, it's a very confident sound. But if I talk with very bad vocal fold contact, you'll find that my voice sounds very hoarse, it sounds very breathy, okay? So you may not really understand what I'm trying to say now. So the thing that we want to always think about is how do we have good vocal fold contact? So when we have good vocal fold contact, the amount of breath that we take in doesn't leak out so fast, so we find ourselves not running out of breath that often. And so you may have thought that you were not breathing enough, that your lung capacity was not big enough, but the truth is that you were just leaking too much air from your vocal folds. You were not having good vocal fold contact. So to illustrate this point better, I need my very sophisticated piece of equipment right now. Okay, good catch, good throw. Okay, so this sophisticated piece of equipment is called a balloon, and I chose a green color to match my jacket. So we're very color coordinated today. And let's say this symbolizes the amount of breath that you hold in your body. So I'm just going to inflate the balloon. Let's hope I don't mess it up. Okay, so let's say these are your lungs and you're holding so much air in your body right now. Okay, so let's say I have very good vocal fold contact. This is what you will see. That the balloon doesn't deflate very fast, and the amount of breath that goes out is very gradual. Okay? Alright, so what happens when we don't have good vocal fold contact? Okay, same amount of breath, and we just don't have good vocal fold contact. Our vocal folds are very leaky, the breath is escaping faster. You will see this. Okay, you may not necessarily hear that sound, but you will see that the amount of breath that you have in your body is not going to last you for a very long time. Okay, let's say I get a bigger lung capacity this time. Okay, so this is a good sized balloon, but we're just going to have very bad vocal fold contact. So it'll look like this. Okay, so you see how a lot of air isn't really going to help, because you're not controlling the amount of air that escapes from your body. And how do we do that? We need to have very good vocal fold contact in order to make sure that we don't get breathless when we sing. And now I can hear the questions in your head. Some of you are asking me, so does this mean that I don't use my diaphragm when I sing? Does this mean that I don't need to train my breath at all? Because that's not the answer. I would say that you still need to train your breath, you still need to be aware of it. You still do need to be aware of how to do diaphragmatic breathing, how to control your breath when you sing. But I would think that you don't need to obsess so much with breath, and breath is not the only answer. You need to work in tandem with your vocal folds. Okay, so another example for you, this time we're not going to use any equipment at all. We're just going to use our body. Okay, so I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to use bad vocal fold contact and try to hold the note. And I'm going to take in a really big breath, and you just listen what happens. Okay, so a big breath. Okay, so all that breath escapes very fast. You find that I can't hold the note very long. Okay, you see that my body deflates very fast. Okay, even though I had a big breath, but it just escaped really quickly. I'm going to do another example now, and this time I'm going to take a normal breath. I'm not going to specifically breathe deep for this, but I'm going to use very good vocal fold contact. I'm going to see what happens. Okay, so just a normal breath and a random note. Okay, so you find that I can hold a note for pretty long time and I don't have that much difficulty, right? I don't feel that my body is deflating very quickly. Perhaps towards the end, when I wanted to hold the note a bit longer, I would use more muscles. I would have to use my body to just support the note a little bit longer. But other than that, you see that the difference in the vocal fold contact actually has a great impact on how breathless you feel when you sing. So when you're singing, always think about how you're going to do good vocal fold contact in order to be able to use your breath even better than you could have if you had bad vocal fold contact. Okay, so that's it for today's video. If you like what you see today and if you feel that it's useful for you, please subscribe to my channel, like my video, and of course drop your comments below. So I will continue to do more great content for you guys, so stay tuned. Hi everyone, my name is Aaron from Intune Music, and today we're going to talk about how do I run out. Karaoke, KTV, karaoke. Hey, with this very sophisticated piece of equipment right here,